Perfect. Perfect. I can't see on my screen, but I'll take your word for it. Oh, because my Wi-Fi went out on here. Can you hear me okay? Can everyone else hear me okay? We're going to have Stephen Vogt join us of the Cleveland Guardians here, manager of the year. How about that? Stop traffic. Trying to see so I can see. Oh, we're good. It's my hotspot. Do. For everyone else there, this is how it works in the winter meetings. Run into some people, kiss some babies. Do. Oh, we're back. Oh, we're so back. Now I can see what's going on. Yeah, we are doing good, everyone. So we're having Stephen Vogt join us here in seconds, minutes. Go talk a little baseball. And I think there's a lot of similarities, Brad, between the Orioles and Guardians for a lot of things that are happening here. So we're going to do that. And Jim Riley, appreciate you, man. About to have Stephen Vogt on here. So, Jim, we got to catch up, man. We are way overdue for all this, man. Maybe we talk Jim, maybe we talk tonight. All right. Maybe we talk tonight. Are we good? Like, people can see okay, though? Bark in the chat if you guys are good. Cool. Just so I can hear on one. Cool. No, you're good. Hey, I mean, you got all the connections. You're the ones that played.
How you doing? Steve. Brad, nice to meet you.
So it's pretty easy. I just thought it was a good conversation to have. One, you're a former player. You're a manager. Things went pretty well. You're in a smaller market, similar to Baltimore. That's where we're based out of. And that's really about it.
All right.
I'll say this. I got a chance to, I think in a day and age of players in the game, analytics, things are changing. One of the compliments I got from one of your players, Tristan McKenzie, I know he had his up and down dealing with injuries, but he talked about how good of a manager of people you were. Your transition into the coaching has been seamless, but how are you able to keep the managing of the people part at the priority? Because at the end of the day, that's kind of what matters.
I mean, it's all that matters. You can have all the data, you can have all the in-game decisions, you can have all the answers, whatever you want to think, but it's about the people that need to go play the game. And so to hear that compliment from T-Mac, it means a lot. And you put a lot of effort into that. I, worked hard every day to make sure our players knew I cared about them and loved them. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, because they're the ones that need to go out and perform. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Actually on the other side of it, because I like the journey of it, you played for how many years technically?
Total in pro ball, like 17 seasons, but 11 parts of 11 in the big leagues.
Parts of 11 in the big leagues. So you had your own minor league grind to get up there. Hey, what was the first car that you had growing up?
So I had a 1999 Chevy S10, nothing power on it at all. The roll-up windows and locks.
That was it.
Yeah.
How long did that one last for you?
I had that for, I think, 3 or 5 years. 5 years, and then I got a Chevy Tahoe.
And that's what I got.
Yeah.
What year was the Tahoe?
05.
05? I had an 05 Suburban, ran it into the ground. It caught on fire coming back from spring training for me with the Nationals. I was going to Hagerstown, Maryland.
Oh, I've been there.
Been there?
Yeah,
Which team?
There. I was there, Low A, I think.
Yep, that's right.
I was on the Columbus Catfish in 2008. We went to Hagerstown.
Obviously, one of your favorite spots to play.
Yeah, way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I always like the car situation, because talking about rolling it up and the journey and the process of what you got to now, one way that your team was described, because the Orioles guys were my teammates, Dean Kramer, Kyle Bradish, Gunnar Henderson, Westberg, but the pitchers would tell me and go, man, this Guardian team's scrappy. So is there a certain way that you embody with how you manage the game, or how do you create type of culture? I know the players got to go do it, but it does start with you.
Yeah. And I think, what it was for me was learning who they are before I even, met them.
Yeah.
And, I was fortunate enough to take over for Terry Francona, who he established a lot of that culture as well as the players. But the organization as a whole, we're contact oriented. We don't try. I mean, we don't punch out much. We walk, we put the ball in play, and we're working on hitting for more power. It's just who we are. And That's who these guys were. And so learning who the guys are, and then once you understand, okay, that's what this group is.
Yeah.
Now you got to own that. And then you make them believe and help them understand, like, this is who you are and this is who you just continue to be you.
Yeah.
If you continue to be you, you're going to be successful. And we found a way. I think that was the phrase that I kept finding myself saying is like, we found a way to win tonight.
Yeah.
And that might be a safety squeeze. That might be moving a runner and getting a sac fly. It might be a homer that night.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to just scrap and claw and scratch at you till you break.
Yeah, and you did that a lot. And even after David Fry hitting the jack, and then he's putting down a squeeze situation, which it's a lost art. I feel like nowadays people talking about Budden getting it down, and that's where the analytics come into play, right? Things have changed. But here you are. It don't matter. You're throwing out the book. One thing that's different, at least, which you did a tremendous job. Again, I told people, I go, man, Stephen did something that I don't think people realize how hard it is. It's one thing to be a player, to jump right in and make it seem like you've been doing this for as long as you were a player, for 17 years. But now the expectations are going to be on here. And the reason why I bring this up here, I like to use the Baltimore connection. The Orioles kind of had that. Hide in the team, no expectations in 23, whammy, all the expectations in 24. And they did a good job through the injuries. How do you kind of view that with the Guardians? You guys are no longer the hunters. Like, you are the hunted and trying to get back to winning the Central, getting back to the World Series hunt.
I don't know. I don't know how to handle that.
You know what? I love that.
I don't. I've never been in this position, so I'll let you know a year from now. But I think for me, my least favorite phrase is last year. We're not going to be the same team. We may have a very similar personnel, but it's not going to be the same group of guys. We've already lost a couple people to free agency. There's going to be additions, subtractions. It's the way it works. So every single team, no matter how many people are coming back, you have to form a new identity.
Yeah.
So our identity, it might look similar, or it might be similar, but we have to find what the 25 Guardians are going to be. And I think the players are going to drive that. They already are. They're working hard, and we're going to come together at spring training to find what's going to be our identity this year. And it could change throughout the year, but we can't do the same things the same way. You got to find who's a team, who are we this year, and let's not look back. We got to look forward.
What would be then one thing that you learned this year? Baseball, I feel like you learn so many things, and you can say, oh, I've seen it all, but we know this. Something else comes up. What was one thing you learned in 2024, whether as a manager or just being around the game?
I mean, I learned a lot. I constantly learn throughout the year. So if I had to put one thing,
or one of the things, how about that?
I think from this position, like going through it for the first time, it's a long season. And I know everyone says that from their own perspectives, because it is. It's long for everyone. No matter what you do in the game of baseball, it's a long season. But every single day, especially as the manager, you have to be the same person 24/7 every single day. And you have to work at it, because there's days where you're tired. There's days where you're upset. There's days where you're frustrated. There's days where you wish it was an off day.
Yeah.
But you can't ever let that be shown. And you just have to keep that same energy, same presence going all year long. And it's a grind. It's hard, but it's so much fun, and it's rewarding to do it.
I can see the passion with you with it. And that's, people don't understand the word when we say it's a grind and it's used so many times. It is the sacrifice that you're doing. You're spending more time with the players, the coaches, the personnel than you do your own family for 8-9 months of the season. And you're trying to chase one common goal where everything can go right and everything can go wrong, just like that. Before I let you go, because I know you got to run around, since we did talk minor leagues, I love a good minor league story. I spent too much time there, and Asheville, our bus broke down, and we had to put water on the engine just to get back to Hagerstown. Do you got one for me that you could share that just would bring you back?
So we were traveling from Lexington, Kentucky, back to Columbus, Georgia. So it was about 9-10, after a night game.
Yep.
And so we're middle of the night, and our bus driver's having a hard time staying awake. So we had to take turns talking to him.
Yeah.
And so we each took a 1-hour shift. We had like 9 of us that took a 1-hour shift talking to the bus driver as he's ripping up pieces of paper to block the lights on the dashboard because they were too bright, because he was so tired, and we were swerving all over the place. So we took turns keeping our bus driver awake to stay alive.
See, the more you know about the minor league stories here. Oh, yeah. Buck Showalter had him on, and Buck's like, oh, yeah, our driver, he shit himself. So he said, hey, kid, do you know how to drive? And Buck was still playing. He was in Double-A, and he said Don Mattingly was on the team. And he goes, kid, can you drive? He goes, oh, I don't know. I've never driven a bus, but I'll do it. And he did around the Tennessee mountains.
Of course.
Right? That's how it works.
No,
But
you just never know. You never know what you're going to find in the minor leagues.
you never know. Well, Stephen, hopefully get a chance to see you when you come to Baltimore. Well, you know what? You guys are going to be pesky the whole year. I'm rooting for you all the way. Just take it easy on the first for me. All right?
It. We'll see.
All right, Stephen.
All right. Thank
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Be right back. You can take that, Mike.
Yep.
Oh.
Rip's just thanking everybody because, that's what you do. 1 sec, folks. Oh, short and sweet. Loved it.
Was. Oh, well, they're on the move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Are we back? Test.
Yeah.
Test. We got some good kids. That was Stephen Vogt. So this is kind of how it works. You get an email, you get a message. Hey, can they come on for 10 minutes, 7 minutes? You make sure you get that 7 minutes in. And I think we did. I think we did that exact thing, Brad. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are back with the Ryan Ripken Show. It is
Winter meetings.
winter meetings, man. Gosh, trying to get my thought process right here, Brad. I'm trying to get it right. Get it right, get it tight. We are having a good time overall.
Yeah.
Here at the winter. I got my ears.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys tuning back in. I mean, with the viewership today from the earlier show and even right now has been absolutely incredible. So thanks for sticking with us this entire ride. We'll be back tomorrow too. As you know, we're going to continue this going into the evening, but tomorrow we'll be going live as well. We'll have some extra special guests tomorrow too, so you're not going to miss that. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified when we go live, because you're not going to want to miss the people that we have to chat with tomorrow. I promise you that.
I agree with that. We're having a good time. My phone's trying to die. It wants to do it.
Of course it does.
It wants to do it, but we're trying not to let it happen. Well, it's because it keeps going in and out on my phone here. And guys, I'm glad you appreciated the interview with Stephen. Also, everybody loves the minor league stories. Man.
Yeah,
like
you saw him like light up.
He lights up when we're talking about. He knows about Hagerstown. He knows all about that shit. But what I love is hearing how he talks about the game, the passion that he has for the game, and that's the biggest part here. That is why he was able to go from being a player for the Oakland A's his final season, where he hit the home run and there's a great moment there, to then being a manager. And I like the fact that he talked and gave credit to Terry Francona, who we're hoping to have on here in a little bit, and to get that all situated. So
have we heard back from him yet?
I'm trying to check on that real quick. That's a good question.
Okay.
As I'm charging my phone, and we're having a good time. Yeah, but Stephen Vogt, incredible with it. The other part, what I loved hearing about him.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to get this message back. I apologize. I'm a little distracted.
You're good. Everybody understands.
Yeah.
Everybody, we explained this the earlier show.
Yeah,
This is how these streams are going to go. It is fly by the seat of your pants in every sense of the word.
A lot of action. Sorry, Mickey Janis then texted me and was like, "Whoa." Oh, no, it's just me saying, "Whoa." Mickey's on his flight down here right now. So
Okay.
Mickey Janis, knuckleballer, former Baltimore Oriole,
Chat with him tomorrow.
friend of the program. Chat with him tomorrow. Yeah, no, we're excited. So we're actually then another one for all of our viewers here. We're getting it figured out for Preston Mattingly, new general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Zach is here.
Yeah, should we bring him in? Oh, he's here. Yeah.
He popped in halfway through the interview, Zach?
Yeah, all of a sudden I got the notification on my phone that we were live again. I was like, "Oh, okay, let's go." And
Listen,
so
it was like last minute. Like,
I texted Brad because I went over to the A's cast where they're streaming, and they said, "Hey, can you meet us over there?" So I helped chauffeur Stephen over with the group. The Guardians people, by the way, are awesome. Like, they are amazing. That's also how we invited a little barbecue country thing tomorrow night. So they're crushing it. Yeah.
that's
Zach,
I was going to say I was sitting there and all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, bet we're back on. I was like about to set everything up. And then I was watching on my phone. I was like, is that Stephen Vogt that just sat down? And I was
Yeah,
like,
dude, he's kind of a unit too. Like he's
He's a solid guy. Yeah.
yeah, he beat the shit out of me.
By the way, I know that I had mentioned during the first stream that the Yes Network was turning the lights on. Well, that was because Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman came on to the show over there.
Yeah, I was actually trying to introduce myself to the Yankees PR. I couldn't I thought it was the guy, and I'm like, oh, are you Jason? He goes, no. I'm like, oh, not Jason. So I will. So I wanted to say hi to him to try to get in on that conversation. But Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone just went live there. We are trying to get them. It might be a very big challenge.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
I doubt for this one, but if we get them when they come to Baltimore, I think that'd be great.
Especially given how sad they all looked over there.
Yeah, but you know what? Knowing them, they're gonna
be just fine.
Yeah. Yep. And I think we're putting out some clips on X right now. So if you missed the Dan O'Dowd interview, that just some parts of that, because he talked about what he thought the Orioles could do. And Dan O'Dowd, a lot of experience in the front office with the Orioles, the Guardians, the Rockies, or the Indians at the time when he was there in Cleveland. So new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are back. We are live. You thought we were done. Hold up, wait a minute. Thought that we were finished, as Meek Mill would say. Zach, what do we got? Do we have anything else brewing here as I look at some emails?
Nothing really earth-shattering. Now some things have come out that the Astros are saying that they are listening to trade offers for Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez.
Whoa, Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker's the interesting one here, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about a guy that's going to be worth a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess the GM was just up talking, and they asked him about that, if they were taking offers, and he said that they are listening to offers on anyone. So definitely an interesting situation that the Astros are in, because, yes, you have guys like Bregman that are currently a free agent right now. Does he come back? You got guys like Tucker and Valdez who are both on the final year of their contracts. If you don't think you can bring them back because you're seeing Tucker's going to get a massive deal, Valdez is going to get a massive deal, do they look to maybe get a little younger? You have obviously Alvarez is kind of your centerpiece. You still have Altuve. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how that happens. I doubt they trade Tucker, just because I feel like he's the guy that I would go all in on if I was the Astros to bring back him and Alvarez. But would be interesting to see if Valdez. I know I see obviously in the comments as well, but Orioles fans, former almost Oriole, you can put him in the maybe. Do they right the wrong from how long ago? Would that be 8 years ago at this point? We were talking to Duquette. That was like 2015, so I guess 9 years ago.
Yeah, maybe that's what. Yes, that would be. And Jim Duquette was one of those guys that was the story that we have on Insta. I wonder if we have that in the chambers or somewhere on X that we could pull that up, or if it's on Instagram. What's up? Okay, when
you're done.
That's fine. That's fine. Do your work. Oh, you're too kind. I appreciate you. And Zach, Jeremy's over there. Jeremy Booth's over there. So we're he's about to do
actually perfect timing.
Perfect time.
Yeah, it is perfect timing.
Literally. Awesome, Jeremy. So are they selling everyone?
Yeah, we'll find out. Potential, possibly you. And also just got the message. Looks like tomorrow Preston Mattingly is going to join us, GM of the Philadelphia Phillies. So we are excited about that.
What time's that one?
We are looking up at. They haven't given me the time yet. This is how it works.
Okay,
we'll let you know.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. And maybe you know what would be great if all of a sudden here just Brandon Hyde appears out of there. We get that text. I know he's around, and we're trying to get him.
I
ready to go.
Getting a beverage and saw him in there, so he is around.
He's around, and we're around, and we appreciate it. And also, hey Cam, I see you, and also Cam. If you guys don't know Cam, you're gonna get to know Cam. And if you're into the documentaries for baseball and the history of it, you should check out Cam's page right there. It's incredible, and maybe Cam will be helping us out here at the Ryan Ripken Show. Hey, Cam, also so you know, we talked about Jim Thome. You won't believe who we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're setting up a time to try to get Jim. It'd be great to get Jim for this, winter meetings.
Yep.
Just the gentle giant, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see. But let's talk about this news then about Framber Valdez and Kyle Tucker. Okay, let's just take out Kyle Tucker for the Orioles. That's not going to happen. Framber Valdez is very interesting when you think about the history of the teams and what's going on with Elias and knowing that front office, but really knowing those players. And Framber, look, he checks the box, lefty, durable. He sustains his success over time, and he can pitch at the top of a rotation. So I think that this is where the Orioles are going to have to figure out, could it be a guy? What do we got?
What do you got, Zach?
So, this was just reported by Jacob Calvin-Meyer. So Mike Elias, I guess, was answering a question about David Rubenstein during his interview or press conference when his phone started ringing and someone joked that it was Rubenstein calling. Elias smiled and said the next best thing. And then after the interview ended, Elias got on the phone and walked away. So maybe the stove's on in Baltimore. Who knows? But, just a little.
I think the stove is heating up here. And look, when we were trying to tell people with the Orioles, they are being aggressive. They are trying to make things happen. That is one thing I can tell you guys right now. It is a different feel for the Baltimore Orioles here at the winter meetings. They are looking to make moves.
Yeah.
They are looking to bring guys in. Now, does it mean it's going to be the top end guy? No. Could it be? Sure. But to be honest, they are looking for players that can fit the mold short and long term here. And I think that the Orioles are doing just that. They're doing their homework. I got a chance. We gotten a chance to talk to some other Orioles personnel that have come through, and you can sense that.
Yeah.
You can feel that.
Yeah.
It's way different than it was back in last year or in prior years. But you got to understand too, Zach, and you know this, but it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango in free agency. And that's why when you're looking at guys like Max Fried, he doesn't, it just doesn't seem like Baltimore's a destination for him. He's a West Coast guy that is appealing to the Boston and New York markets. So I think that is something that people are going to continue to talk about. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited here. Really good stuff. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe. And there's also a lot of people just around the Network
I'm just
right now.
looking around to see what's going on.
Are they packing up?
No. Like they're still live on air.
Yeah, I don't know. Talk to the Ace Cast. Going on there tomorrow. Maybe 10:15 over there. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And like I said, overall, guys, we will talk about football with Ryan Ripken Show. We cover baseball. We cover football. We cover things around Maryland. But it's like Mike Elias' phone's calling. Is that Zach?
I was going to say,
that was me.
That's who Mike was calling.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it
Guys,
was.
sorry, that's on me. That's on me. It was Mike just wanted to get my approval on a few trades. It's just just business.
All right.
Goodness gracious, man. I'll tell you what, man, this is great. It really is. And we're hoping for the best. We're hoping for more and more.
Yeah.
There's a few other contacts we'll try to reach out to. Hoping Terry works in the Twins. We were talking a lot, trying to get the Twins figured out here. I think that the Oriole fans might not like to hear that, but there's a lot of similarities between the teams in the AL Central. And we just did have Stephen Vogt on, the manager of the year for the Cleveland Guardians. And the dude, you can sense why he was so good. You can understand. And how he talks about the game. And maybe this is music to Orioles fans' ears, or it's going to make you frustrated. He talked about how any way to win the game, we got to be able to play defense. We got to scratch and claw. We got to move the runner over. Or maybe we're hitting a home run that night, or just maybe they're putting down a squeeze. Safety squeeze play to win the game against the Detroit Tigers. And really a game that changed the dynamic of that series. Yes, we know about the big moments. Lane Thomas hits the granny later on, but how about that moment where David Fry hits the home run and then gets the bunt that ends up propelling the Guardians to win that game? It's something all about that is so awesome to see. Question about this is an interesting thought here.
Yeah.
Read about the Orioles being hesitant to lose a comp pick. Feel like they'd have four if losing Santander and Burns and on top of the first round in competitive balance. There's no secret that they value those picks.
Yeah.
No secret. And when you're looking at the value of how much you'd have to pay Santander or Burns on top of then what is out there now, it's a very good conversation to be had. But I will say you better hope that you hit on those picks. But for the Orioles, they've done a good job of that. You got to give them the track record, Zach.
You have to. I mean, and like you said, Mike Elias, it's no secret. Mike Elias and those guys love draft picks. I mean, if there's one similarity between the Baltimore franchises with the Ravens and Orioles, it's that they covet draft picks unlike any other organization, it feels like. This team loves it. And yeah, I've read the reports. I've seen it all about, they are hesitant to deal with guys who would lose a pick because we talked about before, Ryan, you are a small market team. This is not a team. This is not I guess they are not in the financial situation to go out there and every time a big superstar is available, you just sign him. Every time a player like Santander or Burns is up for a contract, you just pay him. They aren't in that situation. So how do you counter that? You continue this long line of when one guy leaves, the next guy steps in. That's why you see the Astros sustain this for so long, because guys like George Springer, they leave, next man up. As soon as one guy leaves, the next man steps in. It's just a seamless transition. And that's how you go and have 10 years of success over 3 or 4. So it really is the balance of, hey, we want to keep draft picks. Doesn't mean that they're not going to try to go after big names. The Valdys of the world, those are still impactful signings that wouldn't cost you a draft pick. So that doesn't mean, they're not going after anyone of value. It just means, these guys like the Max Frieds and stuff probably aren't happening because, like you said, do you want to take a risk on Max Fried, pay him all this money, or take the risk on the, 18 to 20-year-old that you're drafted in the first round next year?
And that's where it constantly goes back to, right, Zach? And the value of what you're looking at, guys, where they're at in their careers, and also where you think you can have values and team control. And Dan O'Dowd even spoke to that about when they talked about a guy like Ryan Mountcastle being on the trade block. He's not saying Ryan was, but they're saying where hesitancy happens is if a team's trading for him, how much are you willing to give up if you don't think you're going to re-sign Mountie, or if you have hesitations because you're going to have to pay him soon. Yeah. So that's the conversation when you're looking at guys of what you're going to do and what's going to happen. It all wraps in together. So the Orioles, though, it's no secret. People want to see them make moves. They want to see them up the ante, so to speak, but they're doing that in different ways. For those that are just joining the show, hit that like and subscribe button. I was wondering, actually, if we could play that clip from Dan O'Dowd since we had it on Twitter, Zach. Could we pull that up?
Someone else is going to have to. I'm still on a different computer.
You got it, Brad? We'll pull that one up here so you guys can just hear that conversation that we had. And before we do that, too, about A.J. Mincer, yes, it looks like he has a lot of interest. The Braves definitely want to bring him back. But, again, you test your value. You test your worth. See what you can get out there and go from there. So we will see what happens.
And then just about a recent conversation. Actually, Mike Elias just kind of dispelled a lot of that, saying the Orioles are in on everybody and that they are considering pitchers with qualifying offers attached. So whether or not that's true and they make a move, we don't know, but he did just talk about that they would consider it. So
I think it all comes down to value. How much money and how much are you paying over time? Does it outvalue than losing or getting a pick, right? Like that's where it all comes down at it. And eventually I think that people wouldn't be so frustrated either way, Zach, if the Orioles hadn't been in a 41-year drought for a World Series or even just a World Series appearance. They've only had 7 playoff appearances in 41 years. So there's a lot here to be desired. Now, the team looks like they could have their 3rd straight, which would be, I'd have to go even further back. The last time the Orioles had 3 straight playoff appearances, but that's what they were trying to do here in 2025. We just finished 2024. What do we got? Thumbs up? Did I mess it up? Oh, that's right. Losing my mind. Hey, we got that video of Dan O'Dowd talking about the Orioles being in on 2 specific pitchers here, or what he thinks would be good additions here.
To spend money if I had it.
Yeah.
To add to rotation as much as I possibly can. They've got Felix Bautista coming back for the back end of their bullpen. So, I mean, I'd try to add 2 starters if I could. One like Evaldi for me that could be my lead in the rotation. And then another guy, I'd love to see them with Manaea in their rotation. I think that bookends then and lets the rest of the rotation breathe a little bit and hold on to those core guys, but I'd play them. Like, they're obviously not going to re-sign Santander because they signed O'Neill. O'Neill's a really productive offensive player if he can stay healthy. So I get that signing. But the rest of the guys, you really do need to play, and you need to start playing them this year.
So right there, the conversation was, to give you context, it was about how do you attract players to Baltimore? First thing being, all right, we can say you got a young nucleus. And then how do you do that? What happens there from that point? Well, in this case, for the Orioles, and talking to Dan O'Dowd, the problem that they're going to have to face, are you going to be able to pay for those types of guys? What we got? Oh, hey, how you doing? Just, we're looking around. I love the hat, though, by the way. Hat's incredible. Hat's incredible. I need to get me one of those before I leave Dallas, Texas. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know if it's going to fit my head. I'll be honest. But I love so do I. Someone made a joke about my hairline again. I'm like, I know. Have you seen The Family?
Yeah.
The Ripken genetics will mess you up. But so the finish with O'Dowd, you can sell on the product of what Baltimore can bring. But the problem that the Orioles, and just like a lot of other smaller market teams, you heard Stephen Vogt, you got to have to create a culture that the team can envision, that they can embody. If you can do that, you can be able to build off of it, and then you learn how to win that way. For the Orioles, similarly, but they're going to have more going on in general. They're going to have more to be able to do, and they have an ownership that is going to be willing to pay the guys. Now, whether those guys are going to come to Baltimore, I don't know. I really don't. But what you do is you have a lot of pieces that can go out there and be a part of a puzzle that can put everything together. That is what we're telling you, and we're starting to see it right now. Sean Manaea is a name to watch. Nathan Evaldi, name to watch. And I said this from the beginning, too. I would not be surprised at all if we saw some trades here in the process. So, that's what we got right now. And I'm very long-winded. Victoria, where are we at? We are at the winter meetings in Dallas as it's happening here. MLB winter meetings. I swear that was Chris Holt, the Orioles' old pitching coach.
I was wondering that myself. Maybe
he noticed. Maybe he noticed and ran away from me.
Maybe.
Yeah. Chuck, are you ready to be hurt? You ready to be surprised? Also, shout out Chuck. Shout out Adams Jeep of Maryland here for our second time today. Chuck, man, I'll tell you what, we got to have some of our times. We got to open up some more cards. We got to talk about, well, what the hell's going on up there, up in Aberdeen. Make sure you're not burning the place down there. And obviously the great deal, if you say Rocco sucks, you go buy a car up there. They'll give you a gas card and some maybe some other cool perks. But only if you say all that.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. Adam Jeep, beep, I'm a Jeep. What do you got?
John Morosi is tweeting that apparently there is buzz in the winter meetings lobby. So I guess near you guys.
Literally right here.
Yeah, I was going to say of Kyle Tucker. Maybe we're the buzz he's talking about.
Oh,
he said there's some buzz going around about Kyle Tucker's availability in the winter meetings lobby. Maybe we are the buzz.
Hell yeah.
Oh, someone just told an incredible joke. I heard that laugh from here.
Yeah.
I don't know who said what, but shit hit.
Yeah, well, they're wondering. They're either thinking Dave Roberts is the funniest guy alive, or they're also trying to make sure they can get him to sign something. One of the two. I think it's a combination of the both.
Yeah.
He looks like he's running around.
Roberts.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to get Dave for a time. Maybe it'll work out in the future here. We'll talk to Mark, see if we can try to get more connections
that
there.
shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we're trying.
I
We're
feel
trying.
like we talked to Mark. We could almost get anybody from MLB Network,
Well,
except for your uncle.
hey, we got him twice though. Just not here. He ain't here.
It was a joke. But yeah.
Yeah. Good times here. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe live from the winter meetings. Ryan Ripken Show. The Kyle Tucker would bring a lot of buzz. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
he? He would automatically become the most sought out player out there by far. I mean, by far. Talk about a guy, the age, the talent, the upside, everything is there for Kyle Tucker. But he's got to get paid soon. And it's interesting. What's Houston going to be like here as we approach? What is Houston going to end up doing?
I don't know. We could talk to our Houston guy.
Yeah, we'll talk to
Here
Jeremy
in a couple
Booth
minutes.
Yeah, when he's done, we'll have Jeremy come on and talk about
He
H-Town.
looks like he's working right now.
He is working. We're looking. Oh, yeah, the yes networks are not shutting things down for the night.
They are not. And there was once they got done with their show, there was quite a crowd there.
Yes, there was.
But and we were actually wondering what was going on. But
Oh, yeah. So you know what I wonder here, Stephen?
how does John Morosi? I mean, is Morosi talking about like in the atrium? I guess because the lobby's here.
Yeah, I don't know. The ballroom, the lobby, the atrium, just places where people congregate.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
There's the other lobby though too that we actually
There's two lobbies.
that we brought all our stuff in on there.
Yeah. We're having a good time, Whammy. We are. It really is a good time.
Oh
here.
yeah, I'm exhausted.
No,
But I'm having a good
my
time.
God. I'm exhausted, but I'm gonna have a good amount of tequila at some
Yes.
point here
Yeah.
to really make sure everything's okay, you know, and go from there. You know, that was another one I'd love to talk with the Marlins in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of all the Orioles connections, talking with Norby.
Did we put a line out for them?
We did. We got a lot of lines out there.
Yes, we do.
So, it's part of just how the day is going, how things are going. And you just keep on keeping on, man. And we're still trying to figure out when we're going to have Eric Neander with the Race come on, talk baseball president of operations about what's going on and what's happening. That would be incredible. And Calvin Barnes will pull this up. Per MLB on free agents, mid-tier starters, the Flahertys, the Sean Menez, Evaldes, Walker Buehler, Nick Pivetta, Jose Quintana. And now Walker Buehler is going to be an interesting name for me.
Yeah.
Because what's that going to entail? You know, who's a guy that finished so strong, but he had some trouble, obviously, coming back from his injury. And
Right.
but man, he rounded in the form when the team needed him most in the playoffs. It was incredible. He was fantastic.
There are sometimes they're just those players in free agency where you just convince yourself I can fix them. And that's Walker. Like every bit of me understands the risk with his injuries. Obviously, what kind of pitcher is he still? It's going to be a shorter prove it deal, I believe. So many factors that go into it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat because of what you talked about, Rip. One, even when he struggled through injuries, stepped up when the team needed him the most, proven postseason performer. And he's a guy who, when reaching his full potential, when he's healthy, we've seen him be a top 5 pitcher in baseball. And this is not somebody who this was, when he came back, he was useless. Like you just said, he was a big part of the Dodgers pitching down the stretch in the playoffs and the World Series to help them get it. I would do the deal in a heartbeat. We've talked about Evaldi. Evaldi's my number one, but if we're talking about a guy who just high risk, high reward, Walker Buehler's who I'd go for.
And he's got the upside. And that's where I'm curious with other teams where he's going to go. It's not going back to LA, right?
Yeah.
They already have their rotation and then some figured out. But this is the point you were making right there. Buehler could be the ace.
Yeah.
But he also could, not pan out. Like that's the possibilities for him. There's a lot of the wording of it. There's a lot of different possible outcomes. There's a good phrase. There's different outcomes of what can happen, but the skill set, no doubt about it, is something that you got to watch. But right now, again, if you're new to the channel, that like and subscribe button. A lot of people tuning in on X, man. I'll tell you what, having a good time with that. We appreciate all of you tuning in. I thought for a while, like going for 2 hours long, we're almost going for 3, 4.
So, real
We've
fast,
been here for a while. Yeah, go ahead.
Just some more stuff from Elias. Elias said that they are considering lots of relievers, and then he said including Danny Coulombe and Jacob Webb. So maybe the door's not completely shut on those two guys. We had kind of gotten an inkling earlier that they were going to monitor Coulombe throughout, and if the deal was right, probably get him on a discount. I could see them bringing him back. Interested to see the Webb thing, but I think those are two guys that if the money's right, I don't think I would have any issue, especially Coulombe. I mean, Coulombe is a guy that I was shocked when they didn't pick up his stuff.
Yeah, but that's showing me that they have concerns about the elbow. Yeah, I still think though a guy where he wasn't getting, it's not a high price that you have to go out to retain him, right? But they clearly are worried about even that number, and maybe they're thinking that value is going to drop because of that if he doesn't get the bite on the market. And those are guys too, like Danny. I don't expect Danny to be one of the guys to come off the board quickly here, or Jacob Webb. So there's going to be time. It's going to be the guys like Romano just was off the board, went to the Phillies, right? So you have that one done. AJ Minter is the hot name right now. Blake Trinan re-signed with the Dodgers. So you're looking at different possible outcomes here. I think that the relievers, unless you're having one of the top guys, which you do, it's gonna take some time. There's gonna take some time. There's so many moves that have to happen here, and quite frankly, if teams that want to spend a little bit more or the budget for those high name players, they can't commit to the other guys. Then if they're going to be all in on a couple, that's what happened with the Yankees. That's what happened with probably the Red Sox or every team that was interested in Soto. They wanted to see what was going to happen. And then now that it is, they're having money allocated to different places for them to go and make a move. So we will see. We will see what happened. Oh, goodness gracious. We're chilling. So Zach, sorry, I gotta answer a message here real quickly.
Yeah.
How are you?
Just fantastic. Just going through some more buzz. I mean, guys, we've talked about Eovaldi. They're saying is picking up interest everywhere, looking to potentially that he could sign within the winter meeting period. So I think really Juan Soto signing before the winter meetings was the best thing to happen for the winter meetings, because we've seen years prior where the winter meetings is just legitimately waiting on one or two guys to sign, and it doesn't happen. So the meetings are just nothing. You just feel like nothing gets accomplished. And it feels like this year, especially with Soto signing, it just feels like the buzz for the winter meetings is as big as I feel like it's been the past few years.
There's definitely a buzz. I mean, there's a ton of people here too. It is buzzing.
Yeah.
But when you're hearing about big name and high profile players that are on the market, and there's a lot. And I think we're learning from what happened last year. This is not just, for the teams that Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery signed for, but players are going to be worried. I think that'd be on the back of my mind, Brad. If I got to go to a new place where I'm not sure, if you secured the bag and you feel comfortable and you're getting that money and
right,
and you feel set, but most of these guys, they're competitors. And Jordan Montgomery, though, he wasn't set. Same with Blake Snell. They weren't. Again, this is in perspective or respective to what they can make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a $25 million a year deal, but you would have thought Jordan Montgomery was going to get a multi-year $100 million plus type of deal, right? And he didn't end up getting it. What's going on?
Hey.
How we doing? You want to switch sides? We got Jeremy joining us, Zach.
Jeremy.
Oh,
going on a first name basis.
I know. It's a perfect time for you to join. So everyone that knows, and you guys have seen our show, Jeremy Booth, what are the full titles for you now?
They just call me Grand Poobah at this point. I don't really have one or two.
Don't.
I was rolling over there. We had a chance to talk to. I was talking on camera about the Astros and the Bregman stuff and where he may end up. Some of the stuff in the division. whatever's happening in Oakland. I don't think anybody knows what that is yet. Obviously the Orioles actually came up in a Bregman conversation. Whether it's a fit or not, it's not the point. But Elias was there, when they drafted him. That was his guy. So it's interesting to see where that's going to play out. The Astros in a weird spot.
The other thing that people are reporting, John Morosi has put it out too, the buzz that Kyle Tucker being could be shopped now.
He's on the block.
So in that case, okay, if we're ranking that then, and we're looking at, not saying it's a yard sell for Houston, but they got to figure out what they're going to do. If Bregman comes back, you made an offer. We'll see. Framber Valdez, you want to see what you can get. Kyle Tucker. Is Kyle Tucker now become the biggest piece available if he is available?
Ryan, the funny thing is they think they can win the division.
Yeah.
That's what they think. Now, if you look at it today, what's the date today? December 9th?
It's a great question. December 9th.
Okay,
yeah.
So December 9th, and they think they can win the division. Texas hasn't really been heard from. The A's signed Severino in a baffling display of spending.
Well, it's a good amount of money. Biggest deal in A's history right there. Makes all the sense because it doesn't make sense.
I'm still at a loss. His face when he saw Sacramento's stadium, that was great. Did you guys see the picture? He's like this. What?
It's the home away for home.
Right. So, and then you've got the Angels, which are improving.
Yep.
Kikuchi's a good sign. So I get it as they sit today that they think they can win the division. I don't know that it's a runaway for them at all with the other clubs to do it. And I also, if I look around the league, because it ain't just the division.
Yeah.
This is a league with the wild card scenario, right?
For sure.
I've got 4 teams in the AL East I'm worried about. I got 3 I'm worried about in the Central as far as knocking off those positions, right? Because of the parity in the schedule. And I'm not sure they can win the division. I do think if I'm them and Bregman signs elsewhere, Tucker's moving. Yeah. For me, I'm getting pieces. So you think Valdez too.
So you think it is with that? If Bregman says, you know what, hey, thank you, but I'm going, then you're looking at trying to retool the Houston Astros. Kyle Tucker, hey, let's see what the biggest bid. There's no doubt. What Kyle Tucker's age right now? He's what, 27,
I think,
in his prime.
Yeah, he's right in the middle.
Right in the middle of his prime.
Yep.
And then you just saw Juan Soto's big deal. Hey, Zach, if you can for me, and let me know, or Jeremy, how many years of control Tucker still has, but is it free agency next year for him?
After this one.
Yep.
So whatever team trades for him, you would think, now we've seen it, Soto said, hey, I want to go to, I'm going to free agency no matter what. Scott Boras, and here we are, $765 million later. But for a team, you would think if they trade for Kyle Tucker, they're either trying to win right now or they want him to be the guy for the future.
Let me ask you a question. I know the answer to this. It's a dumb question. Where'd you grow up?
In Baltimore.
Okay. Tucker's from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You East Coasters don't like to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm from the West Coast. I'm from SoCal. We're a little more adventurous.
Is that what it's considered?
Well, I'm just saying. He's from Florida. Now, you look in the AL East and the NL East, and they're spending money. Right? They're spending money.
Yeah.
Kyle Tucker has made himself into a player. The tools are there, but he's made himself into a player. Baltimore Orioles are on the come. It's a good time to have a fit for him to be there, okay? The Yankees got to answer somebody. They got to answer. Now, whether it's with $700 million spread out over 4 guys or 5, I don't know. They got to answer. When it comes to the Mets are not afraid, clearly, and Cohen doesn't understand limits, so that's just what that is.
Nope.
Then you got the Boston Red Sox. And you've got Alex Bregman, who is really good there.
Very good.
And Tucker, who's also really good there. That they have some money to burn and not a whole lot in the system. Now, if you can sign these guys and all you're giving away is draft picks, I'm not speaking for the Red Sox at all when I say this. For me, if you're going to compete in a hurry, those are 2 guys you target immediately because they will outgrow what Houston can spend for them.
No doubt about it. And right now, when we're looking at outfield help, like that's the hot topic. That's why Kyle Tucker's name now. If he's available, what's the cost price for it? What are you going to have to pay him? Where's your team at? The American League East would be a fit if he's a East Coast guy, which he is.
Florida. Yeah.
But then you're looking at it. Toronto is trying to spend now. Whether people want to go to Toronto, that's a whole other conversation because they're in a weird position right now too.
They're in an awkward spot.
The last few years, every year they're like they're going to win the division, they're going to be in the playoffs, and then something goes wrong, and then they still have Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr. What are you going to do? What's going to happen? Now, in the other case, let's talk about that. So the Yankees, the Red Sox, it's no secret they want to add a outfield bat. Santander with the Orioles is a name that's linked to those teams. Santander, power bat. 30 years old, though. What's it going to be? To me, it seems like Kyle Tucker is going to end up in the AL East. If I was going to be a betting man and someone was to make a move, Kyle Tucker could be a problem.
Well,
I just don't see the Orioles being able to make a trade for him with what they have.
I think I don't know that it's a trade. I think it's going to be if they can't move him because the price is going to be high and it's going to drop and it's going to drop. It's going to drop like it always does. They may be able to spend with this new ownership. But would you know who those guys are at all? The new ownership?
Yeah.
You don't have a clue?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Familiar?
A little bit. We sat down with them a couple times.
Once or twice. Yeah.
Once
They
or
may
twice.
be able to do some of those things that to compete in that division. Because one thing I do know about the new ownership, this much I think anybody can say with confidence, they didn't do this to lose.
No.
That didn't happen, right? You don't buy teams to go in and lose. They're certainly not that way. So, especially not the competitiveness that group has within it. They're going to go out and they're going to try to win. If you do that, you have to allocate resources in today's game that are far different than what we've ever seen.
Right.
And so if it comes out to be the case, you got the Yankees who are they a third place team right now? Maybe.
Yeah.
You got the Red Sox who have to spend, otherwise Boston's going to revolt. And you got this Orioles team who we've been talking about now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That is just about it's that far away.
Oh, they're close.
From being really good for a long time. And they did this in Houston. Elias was part of that.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they spent with free agents at the right time to go do it. So I actually think that Santander's not a fit in Baltimore anymore for a few reasons, and I think Tucker's a fit next year. I also think that if they're truly building for the future with that division in a couple places, if I'm a player and you played and you're somebody who wants to go be good and win some championships, I'm looking that way.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the West Coast. No offense to my teams on the West. I'm looking at the East Coast.
Right.
Because right now it's the Dodgers and who else on the West? Nobody else, right? I'm looking
I would say the only team would be San Diego. I think is going to continue to make a run, but different market size of what you're trying to do. I think with it, just everything just points to that. But the one thing I'll say with the Orioles, and this is where I kind of look at it, and this is the only downside to it. So take out the baseball side. I like Baltimore. I grew up in it. You met, as you remembered. Hey, Jeremy, I'm from Baltimore. By the way, I know the great things it can offer, and that hey, it's not just it's the wire. Hey, there's a great place. They got great schools. You have places to live outside the city. You're close to DC. You got a great nucleus. Then baseball wise, talk baseball wise, a bright future. You have an owner that is aggressive and wants to spend. But then the one thing is because I know about with Blake Snell. So they were interested in Snell, and it's coming down to a team. And this is the perspective for you. Okay, Dodgers call you. Yankees call you. Boston calls you. They all offer the same amount of money. Unless you're bought in on the baseball piece, you have to be bought in on the lifestyle.
That's right.
And so Blake Snell was like, okay, well, I'm going to go play with the Hall of Famers at the top of the order, and then LA fits my skill set more, plus I can be protected. So it was another part, baseball plus. He goes, I want to be out west. I want to be with LA.
He's from Seattle.
And it makes sense. So
Absolutely.
like Corbin Burns is going to be the same situation. It's not well, I wouldn't say it's a secret, but there was a lot of hesitancy that he wanted to sign back with Baltimore. I'll just say that.
That's fair.
Yeah. He's a West Coast guy.
He's a Northern Cal guy. That's right.
But maybe money pushes him. I think that would piss the Orioles off more if Corbin Burns stayed with New York or Boston. I know it's going out west. I think guys like Kikuchi, Sasaki, you start looking at the players where they line up geographically. It's different, man. I mean, look, you get Baltimore North, and you should be Philly North. And I say that in a good way because Baltimore is one of the best towns. Talk it up.
That I have been into for baseball fans. I remember walking into Camden as a scout, and I was like, man, I'll just right here. I'm gonna stay right here and watch this because the fans are crazy and in a good way, and they're respectful, and they love what they're seeing on the field, and they're intelligent, and it was all orange and black everywhere. Mm-hmm. And the ballparks, man, that's one of the most classic ballparks. That's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And you look at when they were down, and then you go Philly North.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a certain type of makeup, you ain't surviving up there. That is some of the. I remember doing the World Series with the Astros and the Phillies, and I'm walking out, and these guys, the Phillies in the beer gardens, Phillies fans. My goodness, I can't say that now. Like I can't speak that way, and I'm a pretty outspoken guy. Yeah. I can't use some of the words I heard. My virgin ears, I can't do it. Yeah. You know. And then once you get to Baltimore and you go north, if you're a baseball player and you're in your prime and you're trying to win, all right, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, Aaron Judge, Mike Giancarlo Stanton, Garrett Cole. We haven't got south yet. We haven't got to Aaron Nolas. We haven't got to Jackson Holiday, who's going to be good. He's going to be really good.
Fine.
We haven't got to the nucleus that's been built there, the Grayson Rodriguez's and the guys on the pitching staff and the system that's been built in Baltimore. So you start looking around, and if I want to be good for a while and be in the right spot, there's only 3 places in that division I'm really going to go. And the Yankees aren't even one of them. I don't say that with any disrespect to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out which one in the middle of those 2 I like. And it's probably Philly.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. But I think this next year, Jeremy, will be very interesting what Baltimore does. I'm curious with this winter meetings, this offseason, we'll get a little bit more of a tell of what's going to happen. One thing that we know that they're going to try to do, and they're going to try to do something that is, it's not that it doesn't happen, but it would be more on the rare side, is to have a Scott Boras type client extend early. Can it happen? Sure. Is it more than likely? I don't know about that because I said right now Gunnar Henderson's the name I'm talking about. Right?
Who's he?
Pretty good. Pretty good player in Baltimore. So they're looking towards the future, and their best case of trying to convince guys at this point to be that driving force for Baltimore is the guys that are homegrown are going to be there. Like Jordan Westbrook to me is the glue of it. I think Jordan, you offer him something good, he'll stay. I mean, he's down south guy, went to Mississippi State. But Jordan,
yeah, but those guys want to compete, man.
And they're
That's SEC. They're not messing around.
Well, I'll tell you what, and that's the fit for it. But for Gunnar, I'd right now, unless the Orioles were going to say for an extension, and I don't blame it, but if Scott Boras just signed Juan Soto for $765 million, where does the conversation start for Gunnar that's not even at the prime age yet? And that's where that's the point that's going to be. So he's 22 years old.
The best part about the guys in that range is that they're going to have an opportunity to set the market because of the Soto deal, right?
For sure.
So because Soto is 26.
Yep.
If you're an Alex Bregman, for example, not that, you're 30 or 31, right?
Yep.
You're in that, it's a different range. So figuring out where that fits is going to be the fun part. What is also interesting is going to be the CBT, because the CBT and it's time to draft picks and then it's new CBA that's coming up. Everybody's going to blow right by that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compete with the CBT anymore.
Yeah.
And expect you're going to win championships.
Right.
You can't. Look at what the Dodgers did with Ohtani's deal. I didn't realize this till much later. I don't know if you read this or not.
Mm-hmm.
The genius part of investing that money as a deferred salary pays for the entire contract.
Nice.
So, right. You got Ohtani making money on his investments. You're getting $2 million a year from the club. So AAV goes down. So what? The Dodgers are paying for that contract in interest. Bro, sign me up. Like, who isn't going to take that deal? So if you're the guy who comes over from Japan and you're the guys that are looking at it, you want to play in markets where you can win because the endorsements are there. No different than ever before. Stakes are almost $1 billion now. $1 billion. I don't know. I think it's a very fun time in the game to see that. I think the CBA is going to be very interesting with what they do. I am curious what happens in places like Toronto because the exchange rate's different, right? We know that's $1.40-ish every time you go up there. And then what did teams like the Angels do?
It's a great question. I think people have been asking that for a very long time, though. In general, to be fair, you see what they're trying to do, but that has been something. And that's why we go back to that conversation with when Houston's in this, situation, is because the division has still been theirs for all the years, and the teams are making strides, but no one's really – if Texas is healthy and they're doing their thing, yeah, they could be in a good position, but it's not the same Texas team on paper right now that it was when they won the World Series when they were healthy.
Yeah.
When they were healthy.
Yeah.
The A's are
who?
The A's are are they considered the SAC A's?
I don't know
from the
what
SAC
they are,
now
man.
from Sacramento.
I'm telling you, that Severino signing, I saw that thing come across. I'm not paying nothing. Sorry, I'm not. Right now, there's one team in the Bay Area for me, and they're the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not listening to the. I got nothing to say bad about my guys with Oakland. I got boys over there, but I also got major concerns like the rest of the country. Like what are you guys doing? That said, they signed Severino, bro. I was almost going to text you. I was like, what is this? What happened?
Isn't the report coming out though then that Juan Soto's signing bonus is what, like 75 million?
75 million. Yeah.
And so it's still ironic that signing bonus is still worth more than whatever contract that the A's have paid out, which is Severino's, which is the highest in the history. And Soto got it the moment he signs that deal.
That's amazing to me.
It's wild to think. But yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Orioles bought for 1.7.
Well, how many owners have they made actual HBO series about? Because I got one, right? I know it's not about him. It's about him. Okay. It's about him. Well, it's not you. Sure. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? So it's, that guy has done some really interesting, and I would dare say, no matter what side of the fence you're on, impressive things with his financial life. Right. And he's able to go ahead and he looks at his baseball team as fun.
Yeah.
This is my toy. Here's $800 million. Go play.
And I think one thing that the other part is getting more understanding the unpredictability of the sport, though. I think that's the next thing that's happening here, because I think Mike, from what I understand and what I've talked to, it's understanding, hey, this is our plan. Who would you want? But to let you know, we're going to have to take a little bit of convincing. And who do you want long term? I'll never forget, Jeremy David, one of the first. Back in April, Brad, we were on the field. We were on the field for the game, or for BP. We just interviewed Elias, and then we were talking on the field after. And David comes up to me, like, Ryan, good to see you. Because who should we really focus on? I'm like, well, what's the goal? Because who should I sign first? I go, like, you got a lot of young players. He goes, no, give me one name, and I go Gunner. And he goes, oh, okay, good. Like, well, maybe we should do that. And I even asked him, like, so what do you want to do? He goes, well, I want to build a contender. I go, okay, well, that's a good answer, but then how do you want that to be? Do you want to say, hey, go out and get these guys at any means, let's overspend? Or you got to say, hey, let's pick our time, who we want to keep and build around? And not always the biggest contract is going to be the contract that works for you. Blake Snell is a really great pitcher, but longevity, how long he goes into games, a 6-man rotation for the Dodgers is going to help him a little bit more. And then you're looking at Kansas City, where I'm saying similar market. They extended Bobby Witt Jr. early, and then they signed a guy named Seth Lugo, where everyone thought, that's a good deal, but why'd they pay that guy money? It wasn't groundbreaking money, but he turned out to be good. Now the Royals are now in motion of what can happen. I think that they want to spend a lot. Oh, and by the way, you still have Kyle Bradish that you hope gets healthy. Grayson Rodriguez that you hope. And, man, I feel for him. That's the second time with his lat, and you spent time watching and seeing him grow through your series. By the way, nice rep in the New Balance. You got to.
I kind of, it's kind of like,
I would too.
I'm kind of under contract to do so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not allowed to wear Nike.
Yeah. Well, so people also knowing,
do it.
So people knowing with Jeremy too of the scouting background, covers the team in Houston, but also the prospects that have come up. That's why I brought up Grayson.
Yes.
Because you got to see it with that. Does that worry you at all with a second lat thing? You think he gets that right?
I don't think he's velocity reliant. I think he's got velocity now. Okay.
Yeah.
When he was drafted, before he was drafted, he was compared to by one of the scouts we had to Matt Morris. You guys remember him? Matt Morris was the Cardinals for a while.
Yep.
I think he's going to end up with better feel to pitch than we've seen yet. It's there. Sometimes the velocity gets away from him, flattens out in the middle of the zone, and gets hit. But he's also a big physical kid who will address it in conditioning. And if it's 92, 94, 94, 95, it's a 97, 99, so be it. As long as he's able to eat those innings, he's a big physical kid, and when he's good, man, he's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. So he's a front of the rotation guy that the Orioles, stole at 11. Looking back on it, it's a pretty good pick, right? So
very good pick.
Am I worried? My concern, you have to be. Am I worried? No.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I feel like when he's healthy, he's going to continue to figure it out and get better, because they'd have the glimpses last 2 years where it's just dominance.
Yeah.
Then there was some moments there. Okay, well, pitch count gets up. You leave a pitch in the zone, over the plate, a mistake pitch, he gets hit. They're going to make you pay.
Yeah.
Or your pitch count gets up because you're throwing pitches a little bit out of the zone because you're not putting guys away. But when he's on, shuts down any lineup.
That's right. Anybody, any team at any time, when Grayson Rodriguez has the ball, it can be night real quick. And then like anybody else, man, it's a big league. So you get flattened out, you get whacked. So I think though, if I'm looking at these around the league, I think Blake Snell staying on the West makes sense. I think the East Coast clubs would have gone nuts. I think that Blake Snell has enough durability issues that contract has to be taken on by only one club, and that's the one that did it, right? We'll see where it lines up. I'm curious about the middle of the country in both central divisions because, man, that's starting to get really, really plucked. You know, it's starting to get really thin in the middle. And even though the Astros are the West, they're not. They're in Houston, Texas, right? So, anyway, I got to get to dinner.
Yeah, you're
You
good.
guys
I was
go
just
ahead and
about to say, do your thing.
Good to see you,
man.
Good
Great
to see
seeing
you.
you.
Good to see you.
How
Yeah,
long?
guys.
How long you in town?
A couple days.
Okay, so I'll see you around.
I live 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll see you later on. Enjoy dinner. All right, Jeremy. That's Jeremy Booth, everyone. He's great, man. Great dude. Covers the teams. Great background with scouting. And it's a lot of good points. I think talking about geographically. So you're hearing us talk about players. We've talked about it a lot. It's not just about the money. It's about also where they want to be. It's a big thing. Zach, would you? And you're if you could. Well, I was gonna say you're a Baltimore guy, but you're a Marshall guy through and through too. You know, if the team was Marshall, he might just stay in West Virginia. You know what I mean? There you go.
Well, Marshall's got enough issues going on with the football program at the moment. But I was going to say, I love that Jeremy just doesn't sugarcoat anything. He's going to tell you how he feels, whether
people love him and hate him for that.
Yep.
Exactly. We love him for it. Maybe if you're a fan of the Astros and he tells it like it is, you're not as big of a fan. But, you know, things like talking about Kyle Tucker, I don't think – now he got me excited talking about Kyle in Baltimore. I don't see that happening. But it's a talent that, as we've said, is probably making its way to the AL East. You know, you think Boston, you think New York. Those are going to be big suitors for him. And it really is interesting to kind of hear his perspective on what's going on in Houston, because he's talking about, hey, if they don't get Bregman back, sell it now. You know, don't wait, don't have all, just sell it. Sell Framber, sell Tucker, and let's just start. I mean, it's not start over because of the talent they still have, but it's a retool. You know, go get the young guys, because you can get some stars, young stars,
no doubt about
those two that could really jumpstart the next 10 year run.
Oh, no doubt about it. Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We are live from the MLB winter meetings here in Dallas, Texas, where we've already had a chance to speak with a few people. It's been great. Dan O'Dowd kicked it off there. Stephen Vogt, manager of the Cleveland Guardians. Just had Jeremy Booth, one of our favorite analysts out of Houston, covers a New Balance Future Series, which covers rising prospects. That's how he knew Grayson Rodriguez so well in that circumstance. We do have a couple guests lined up for tomorrow.
Paul on earlier.
Oh, yeah, Paul Mancano, Baltimore Banner. I forgot that Paul just snuck in. You know what? When Paul was just sitting here, it's like, he downplays himself. I'm like, Paul, freaking love you, man.
Everybody knows Paul.
And he's great. Yeah, he does his thing, man. And what we've loved is that we're continuing to meet more and more people here. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great people here in Dallas as we continue to hear what's going to happen for the next couple days. Honestly, we don't know what the next big move's going to be, but we feel something's brewing.
Yeah.
We feel something's brewing. Yankees are staying lit up over there.
They are.
That is very interesting to me.
And their anchors are still out there.
And we're sitting here and we're going, damn, okay.
I see two of their anchors that are just standing around.
It's 6:19 now, local time, 7:19 back home. So you're thinking, all right, around this hour, getting a little bit later. Yes, programming, people get off work. But usually with these programs, a lot of them were off. Like yesterday, the Mets was not on until the lights came on later. And why? Because the news was starting to get there about Soto.
Right.
Jim Duquette was telling us too. He's like, we're hoping, but I got to be ready. Jim was fully prepared to get the call at 3 a.m. for Soto to sign. But instead, he signed it in favorable time, like what, 8 o'clock last night?
Yeah.
8:30?
Somewhere around there.
I forget because there's so much happening on my mind. Oh, man, stretching out the legs, dude. I'll tell you what, man. Legs are toit. Very toit. And again, answering some emails. Zach from the webs, anything going on there? Getting you all fired
nothing. From a few hours ago, Dodgers are interested in Tanner Scott and Devin Williams. Nothing really over the past 30 minutes that's been anything groundbreaking that I'm seeing from anyone. Obviously, the Tucker stuff. Brian Cashman saying they went above and beyond their comfort level in the Soto bidding, but really nothing recently that's popped up on the rumor mill, at least over the past five or so minutes.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'll be curious. We're going to try to get John Morosi for tomorrow. I think he's running around a little bit today. Get him, line up with Sean Casey as well, get more of it. But John Morosi for sure, he'll give you some great insight of what's been happening and going on. And, this is part of why people talk about of being like, oh, it's so up and down. Well, yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'd come to this thing every damn year. I think that's our plan moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we want to be here? Because we're able to go live. And I'll tell you what,
This
here,
is a
Brad,
blast.
it's an awesome time. And also, we're the only group that's doing this here.
We are. We are the only group that's
consistently.
Yeah.
I will say,
Mark,
yeah.
Mark Feinsand just said on MLB Network right now that he believes, this is just a report from him, that he believes that Max Fried will sign with the Yankees at the winter meetings. So
I thought that Fried felt like to me it was New York or Boston. And I think if it wasn't, though, he's a West Coast guy, I could see San Francisco. I think Corbin, one of those two guys
going to San Fran.
It's Corbin. If Corbin goes to an AL East team, you'll have a lot of reason to be upset, unless the deal is so when I move, you move, just like that, ludicrous. Then okay, you do that. But actually met Mark earlier today. It's another one you just met walking by. People helping people here. Laura, are we doing a setup next year? I mean, we could.
Yeah.
Fans are allowed here. People are allowed to just roam it whenever you want. You don't need any credentials. We have credentials just so we can seem official, but also we can do more things.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to set up and do this.
We can hang out MLB Network.
Yeah, we can hang out with the crew, talk about what's going on. And no, it's been great, man. We have been rolling. We got a lot of people tuning in.
Yeah.
Like this has been fantastico. Oh my goodness. It is shirts and pants. Yep. Yeah, still Yes Network, staying ready.
Yeah.
Staying prepped.
Something's happening.
You
They're not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, Joe, appreciate you.
8:30 on Eastern.
Although I'm sure the
7:30.
Yes Network right now, they've got to be having insane viewership of people just pissed off trying to figure out what the Yankees are doing.
Yeah.
A lot
it's
of pissed
be
off.
Unreal.
A lot of pissed off people. Do you think Michael Soroka goes back? Joe, appreciate that. And again, answer all these questions. Doesn't have to be about the Orioles, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I like it.
Soroka, it's funny. It's not funny, but in my experience, I faced him in the minors. Thought he was really damn good. Really good. And he got off to a great start to his big league career, and then, injuries. That's been a problem for him. Then trying to find it. I could see that being a fit going back, right? I think that's, again, where he started his career. I don't know if that's a reunion that they want, but there is familiarity. It's just really about, do you believe in the guy that you have? And so for Soroka, I'll be very curious about what happens. And I'll tell you this, though. Going to a place where we're in Chicago, and man, it was tough. You're trying to find yourself with a team struggling. You're trying to figure out, X, Y, and Z. And it's hard to play well when your team's not playing well. I want to reiterate that. Like, look how many players last year were struggling. It's contagious. Chicago, it was contagious. Team struggles. They lose all those games. Not a lot of guys are stepping up and playing exceptional. Yeah, it's going to hurt. And that's what you saw consistently. And he was a kind of a byproduct. Not that it was the worst year ever. ERA, though, a little bit higher, 4.74. Didn't have a win on the year, But a guy, though, if he gets to the right spot, can get back to hopefully finding that form that he had really in 2019. He had a 2.68 ERA as a starter. That's the guy that people want to see with Soroka. But players can get back to that. It just might take time, and you got to be willing to give them that opportunity. And that's what I think will be interesting. Oh, goodness. Stretching out my legs right now. And Steve, I appreciate it, man. That'd be great. Maybe one day I'll be on MLB Network. I got to prove my worth. I gotta prove my worth. That is for damn sure.
It would make a lot of sense. Put you up there.
It would, you know, but there's a lot of talented people that been around the game. I'd like to say I feel like I know the game just as well as anyone being around, but
yeah.
I don't have all the experiences that someone like Dan O'Dowd has. Like Dan,
for sure,
executive, but
it's only one way you get it though.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like listening to your conversation with Jeremy, I mean, he validated a lot of what you were saying too. So I mean, he's got a ton of experience as well.
Yeah, I don't like to sugarcoat it. I feel like I feel like, sorry people, I don't like to boast. Yeah, I know my shit. You don't like it? Too bad. I know. Hey, that's me. Hey, Ryan Ripken show. Like and subscribe. I know my shit. I'll let you know with that. I don't like to create storylines.
Right.
So when I tried, but that's why I think it even validates. I don't like to play the guessing game. Sorry, we have to play the guessing game. I don't like to play the, oh, wait a minute, and to draw a stir that way. I just like to call it as I see it and be honest and give you the reasons behind why. And if I can do that, and if I'm wrong, whatever. But I said from the beginning, before we left, I said it feels to me when Tyler O'Neill signed, that was a sign to me that Santander was gone. And also I felt the inclination of looking at things is that the Yankees are not confident that they are going to have Soto. I don't think that there was ever confidence. I know that they're saying the deal. I just think that Soto, it was the Mets all the way. And it was. At the end of the day, it was. Caleb, we had Stephen Vogt on. Could Lane Thomas be a trade target? I don't see the Guardians giving him up.
No.
After they just traded for him in the moment. And Stephen Vogt, when we had him on, so you guys can go back, we'll clip up some of that conversation that we just had with him. They have to make with what they have. They'll spend a little bit, but they revolve around their star, Jose Ramirez. They got a great player in Stephen Kwan out there, great leadoff guy, and they have some great other pieces that are able to facilitate and be around everything that's going on. So when you see it that way and you think about it, that's what you're going to get with the Cleveland Guardians team. So, and that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing.
I couldn't tell if he was trying to come over here or not.
Was he?
It looked like he was making his way over, but then he just made the turn.
Yeah.
That's when he waved. That was Adam Jones.
Yeah.
What somebody else said? Just remember us little people. Laura, we're never going to forget about you.
Never.
No. Hey, look, you know what I'd love to talk about? And sorry, seeing with this, who do you see the Braves making a move for? I'll tell you what, man, the Braves, I don't know how they've gotten away with all the deals. What
I was gonna say they're also in a weird spot.
They are. Well, you know what's interesting? Fried's gonna go. He's gone. Chris Sale had a renaissance, and if he's healthy, he can be that same Chris Sale.
Yeah.
You have Matt Olson down there that the dude can hit some dingers, but their team's going to get a little bit older. And how are you going to put those pieces together? I think that's just the part, but I trust you got to look at the people that are running the ship. And the Braves have, in my opinion, one of the top guys that runs that ship. And then with Brian Snitker, I love what he does.
Yeah.
I love how he manages. He has a feel for the players. But the problem with the Braves, Phillies are going to be right there. The Mets are coming. So this division now has become a lot more competitive. And for the Nationals, look, I was really curious if we were going to see the Nationals make some moves, Brad, at some point here.
Yeah.
But I think that they're one more year away.
I think so too. And they were so good this year.
Like they exceeded expectations and then they fell apart at the end. So
like overall, they had a good season given where they came from is what I meant.
Yeah. So we'll see kind of what happens here. And I'm also, this is why I would love to talk to the Tigers. I really want, I'd love to be able to talk to Detroit about this and AJ Henn and what's going on, because in general, that's a player, that's a move of what's happening here, of what can be. I think that the Tigers, I'd like to know even the thought process of what's happening. Also, they have one of my former teammates, Brendan Hennefy, but I'd love to hear about the Skubal situation. I would have loved to hear about what's going on there and how hard it was. But now they're a team that they went from we're in that middle stage. We can't get over the hump. We spent some money, but we can't get there. And then they trade Flaherty, and then they go on a bender. Right. And Brandon Hanafy is also the name I was talking about for the Tigers. Relief pitcher, used to be with the Orioles and with me, teammates in the minors. They let him walk, had injuries. They prioritized, and I'll tell you what, man, Hanny was dealing. Go check his numbers in the bigs, dude. Woof, he is good. Birdland Sports, I see this.
Do we bring on?
Do we?
Yeah.
Sure, a friend of the program, guest of the show, Rocco DeSangro.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Rock.
Hi. Good to see you guys.
What you doing, Rock?
What's up, dude?
What's so funny, Brad?
Because you're talking like a fucking robot. That's why.
Well, I am a robot.
Has also been sending me pictures of myself from behind the scenes for like 3 minutes. He's just taking pictures of me and sending them to me.
It's the mustache. You just got that kind of face, Zach. It's
Mustache is going. I know. I got the beard going again though. So
yeah. Great job, fellas. Been watching.
Hey, thanks, man.
A lot. Killing it with the content. Interviews were fantastic. Unbelievable job.
Yeah, it looks like Preston Mattingly, the Phillies GM, tomorrow is going to join the show, setting up a time with Sean Casey and John Morosi with MLB Network. So my guess is, again, that'd be tomorrow. We're looking at maybe the Royals. We can get conversations with them. I would love for that. Forget the other list of people.
I feel like John Morosi should join the show only because that's when good shit happens.
I might text him that. I said, we might need you to join and the deal will happen.
That's what I was saying.
And we can keep moving on with our day.
Did you hear that story, Rock?
What's that?
About you heard the John Morosi story with us?
No. What the hell happened with it?
Last night we were eating dinner with him, and that's when the Soto news broke.
Oh yeah. You were getting barbecue, right?
Yeah. We were getting some brisket, smoked turkey.
What did he immediately go into just like work mode?
Yes.
That's when he almost ran into the pole. That's when he almost ran into the pole because he looked down at his phone and then it was
Rip had to tell him to watch out for the telephone pole that was right in front of his face.
Not all heroes wear capes.
That's true.
I'll tell you what, man, it's a
Saved
fact.
his life.
It's a fact, man. John's such a great dude. So we're hoping, that was the big move that happened here. So far, though, everyone's kind of waiting, but things are heating up. I really do think Tuesday is going to get very interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's the day that you get of, all right, Soto signs. Now, all right, let's make our offers. Managers spoke today. Front office executives spoke today. Check in. Are the Yankees packing up?
No, they just put that camera back up.
All right,
camera was not there.
Camera is back up for the Yankees, for the S Network.
Let's see.
So we'll see what's happening.
Do they know something we don't?
I don't know. We know everything.
We did see Boone and Cashman over there, Rock.
We did.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just looking at. They said here from Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone this evening. So Cashman was already on the set, right? Was Boone on there yet, Brad?
Yeah. Boone was on there before Cashman.
Okay.
I was like 4-ish, 4 to 4:30, somewhere around there.
They're doing the Yankees hot stove tonight at 8 p.m.
Well, hey.
Okay. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's what they're preparing for.
Their backdrop it literally has hot stove
that's
on it.
Freddie. When you yell at Freddie, that's the clubhouse guy for the Orioles.
We'll yell at him.
Right?
I don't know why I was assuming. I was like, I don't know why immediately I was like, oh, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I was like, oh shit.
Clubhouse guy, Freddie Freeman. Yep.
I've heard he's a great clubhouse guy.
So like the
Is
setup?
that a candy store in there?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell him don't get too much candy.
Yeah, bro. Tell him to get the Nerds Clusters is what you should tell him.
Yeah,
so
Nerds
They're
Clusters
so good.
are without a doubt the best candy out there right now.
Very underrated snack, Brad, especially for like road trips.
I just
Oh,
texted
yeah.
him, don't get too much candy in there, Fred. He's going to be like, what the
I haven't stepped foot in that candy shop because I know that I will.
Hey, you want me
Do
to
bad
take you
things.
to the candy shop?
No.
The candy shop.
I don't want to hear the next line, Fred. Stop it. Knock it off. Knock it off.
Oh man, we'll see what happens, man. New to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live from the winter meetings here in Dallas. Appreciate you all. Another sponsor we want to shout out here. I know we usually do our whole spiel, but we're not in Maryland. We are in Dallas, Texas, and we're certainly not over in Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races in West Virginia.
We're about 1,200 miles away from West.
We are a far ways away from West Virginia, man. I'll tell you what.
Probably more than 1,200. What is it? Me like 1,800.
I don't know. I can't wait for Freddie to read this message and be like, what the hell happened? But for Hollywood Casino they're a proud sponsor now with ESPN Bet there. They have some deals coming up. What are we doing?
Just acting a fool. That's all. Go ahead.
Are you okay, Zach?
Yeah, I was just shouting myself out in the chat and then hit a clean step back, keeping the mid-range game alive.
Oh, you actually, dude, this is
You have to go
you
back.
actually wrote.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a clown. Like
I spent 16 minutes of my Thursday last week watching every mid-range shot that Sean Livingston attempted in the 2016-2017 season.
What a nerd.
Right?
Nerd.
Nerd.
Just keeping the mid-range game alive. My biggest regret in life was not disappearing for 2 to 3 years and coming back with an insane mid-range game because it would change my life.
That's what it'd be.
Yes,
What's
it's 6'4" with
hey.
a mid-range game. I would have been the perfect bench piece on like a good Cinderella team in the
What's the
NCAA.
first thing you're buying when you walk into the candy shop?
It's got to be Nerds Clusters right now.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
If not them, Sour Patch Kids.
Remember when you walked into my house and crossed me up?
Yeah, that got ugly. That was really bad.
That was absolutely like what an asshole.
That
To
was
walk into someone's house and to ghost cross them up when they're doing you a favor is just absolutely absurd, like out of control.
Hey,
You
do
guys
better.
are 1,239 miles away from Hollywood Casino at Charleston
That's
Races.
1,200. I think, yeah.
Oh man.
I pulled it up.
Woo.
No, but seriously, Brock, what are you getting when you go into the candy shop?
Oh man, when I go in, I'm trying to think, man. It's like, what is it, like a basic like 7-Eleven kind of candy shop where you're just like you just got like the standard,
my
or is this like the
What's-
Emporium?
What is
How
your
are you making a hypothetical out of this?
Yeah,
I'm
like
asking.
just
I need to know what I'm looking at.
You're walking into a kid.
yeah, just to get. What?
Brock is like, what? He's like, what country are we in?
You know what? I used to eat like they were like, I don't know, like all the time. Take fives.
Okay.
Take fives are fantastic.
what's
Very
in it,
underrated candy.
Sure.
What's in
Yeah.
it? What's in a Take 5?
It's like pretzels, caramel, peanut butter, like all the good shit.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like it's from Reese's, right?
I believe so.
No, I
No?
don't think so. No, maybe, but I would fuck with that.
Yeah.
That sounds real good.
So, real quick for the people, for the program here.
Yes.
Yeah. I did love Kit Kats, and I'm also thinking I want a Snickers because I feel some type of way.
You look
and
like
you're not yourself when you don't have it. But I wanted to make a comment to Matthew about the Reds made any moves yet. Not that we've been hearing so far as like anything of huge substance. I had to check on social, but nothing I've heard of being linked to anything, except we are trying to link ourselves to have Terry Francona join the show here.
yes.
So hopefully that will happen here in the next day or two, and kind of go from there. That's our goal. He'd be a fantastic person to talk to. And Caleb, actually, with the Rays, next year they're going to be playing at Steinbrenner Stadium down in Tampa, where the Yankees play their spring training. So that's the first thing, and they're really trying to modify a couple other things. But
They're actually going to sell that out.
Honestly, that
I don't know. I don't know.
think that'd be a more enjoyable spot to watch.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just the other fan base. been known to not really show up. So I'm just curious if they're actually going to sell that stadium out.
You have MLB next year is going to be kind of insane when it comes to, because you got to factor in the A's are going to be playing in Sacramento at a minor league ballpark.
Yeah.
And
Literally
playing it at a spring training ballpark. So you're going to have teams going to facilities that are not major league ready at all.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see like how that plays out and what the experience is like when the O's go down there or when they go out to Sacramento to play.
All I'm saying is if it's not the Orioles in it, I am praying for, I don't know how it happens, for an Athletics versus Rays ALCS in 2 minor league stadiums.
Oh my God, dude.
I mean,
you imagine?
Major League Baseball would change the landscape of the league forever and host neutral site. Like it would they would refuse to have only 8,000 people that they hold. Like they'd be like, absolutely not.
Did they do that during COVID, right, Zach, with the neutral sites? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think so. No. The only team that really was affected was Toronto. Couldn't play in Toronto, so they played in Buffalo.
No, but I thought for like the actual postseason, maybe I'm thinking of a different sport. They did neutral sites.
Oh. You mean the bubble?
Huh?
The bubble?
Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you so much,
Yep.
Victoria.
Postseason was in Texas. Yep. I'm right. You're wrong.
Amazing.
I win. You lose. Good day, sir.
Are you burning out?
There's a couple of things I'm trying to figure out here at the same time, and also realizing I'm like, I am a little hungry.
I tried.
I know. Well,
I tried to feed you.
I didn't need it at that time. I didn't. I've also been going now, 3.5 hours of talking and content.
Yeah.
And so much more tomorrow. So stay tuned, people.
Yeah. Well, and we might have more tonight. Like, it really depends on what happens. If the Orioles make a new move tonight, stop traffic, we're going to have to hop back on this damn thing and talk about it. And we'll just continue to go from there. Trying to think of anything else right now. Do we want to add anything? We've had a fantastic turnout here the last
it's been awesome
streams here.
Yeah.
Seems like people like the winter meetings.
It's like people came to this channel because they like baseball.
And they do like baseball. And yes, for those that are wondering, Ryan Ripken Show live Mondays and Thursdays. And honestly, for events like this, we're going to be live tomorrow as well. A lot of good things. A lot of good things that we can continue to do. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And amazing. Good people, good food, man. Looking at the schedule of what's just happened here at the winter meetings, all the managers that are speaking tomorrow, AJ Hinch, Rocco Baldelli, Bruce Bochy,
great name,
Rob Thompson, Will Venable, Aaron Boone, Mark Kotze, Brandon Hyde, Kevin Cash.
Yeah, there you go.
Kevin Cash.
Did you guys
we
could.
could.
Rip, what did you get barbecue-wise yesterday? What did you guys get, Brad?
We got the same thing. We got brisket.
No, where did you get it? Like on location, or did you go to like a barbecue spot?
Yeah,
we went to a spot.
Yeah, we went to a spot called the Ferris Wheel. It's like across the street from here.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we'll Uber over there to save time, and then we walked back, and it took less time than it did for us to get over there.
Unbelievable. I don't know if there's like any
Uber dropped us off in the wrong place.
I don't know if there's any like Dallas or Texas-based people in like the chat right now, but I heard Terry Black's barbecue, like Dallas and Austin, is like a must.
I've been there. It's very good.
Is that good?
Very good.
I was telling Zach we had mac and cheese as a side. It was called barbecue mac and cheese.
Woo!
And they took mac and cheese and then like crushed up barbecue potato chips over top of it.
Oh my God.
It was fucking awesome.
They're just like built different in the South. I love it.
Yeah. It was so good.
So much. It's so easy to gain so much weight down there. Like their food is just unbelievably good. But
everything's bigger.
Yeah. Everything's bigger, better in Texas. But
I would like to get some Mexican food while I'm down here, if possible.
The Tex-Mex is fire. Yeah, that's a must too.
I will say, hi, Ethan. Where are you running off to?
Ooh.
Oh, that's why you got your A's polo on. Nice. You look good. I have those same boots. That's what you wear to work each day? Damn. Oh, you wear the jorts. Okay. Nice. All right, enjoy yourself. Have fun. Be safe. So I also run into a lot of people I used to work with. So it's been great to see. So Ethan used to work in the on the analytics tech side with the Orioles. So he's with the A's now. He's awesome.
He's like what? Their technical analyst or something over there. What does he do?
Yeah, he's part of when they're looking at, when it comes to explaining like swing analytics, when it comes to certain
Yeah, that's what it was.
certain types of things that can help you understand what's going on, what makes you tick, and it also helps you on a day-to-day basis with pitchers you're facing.
Yeah.
And yada yada. If something's a deficiency for you,
Right.
all interesting, all good. So Chad, we don't have a time tomorrow because we might have a time tonight. We're hearing back from what we're going to do. We might have some interviews in the morning. I'm going on the A's cast. Apparently, I'm going on between Bob Melvin and I forget the other person that's going on in between.
All right.
But maybe after I can say, hey, Bob, hey, Ryan Ripken, I emailed your guys' PR staff. I would love for you to come on. And while we're at it, let's get Buster Posey. I reached out to them. I really want a chance to talk to Buster.
Tell them to respond to my email. Damn it.
Yeah, that's all we're going for. But Chad, we're kind of staying live to make sure we're ready to go whenever it is. So that's our plan. That's what I'm going to roll with. Is there anything else we want to do right now? Maybe because we got no other news at the moment.
No.
I really feel there's got to be some news later on, whether it's.
That's like the second time you said that.
I do because I feel it in my plums.
I mean, I was just wondering if you got a.
Yeah, do you have something we don't?
A Gavin Sheets type text message or what?
Let the boy watch.
Oh, sugar.
Let the boy watch.
I'm glad someone pulled it up right there.
Oh shit, that was hilarious.
It was
I'll
a
tell you
sultry evening.
That was perfect.
And my
Don't get me
wife,
started.
Donna. And he walks in.
I said, no,
No.
he needs to watch like my father and his father.
What a show. What a game. What a sport. Hey, look, I think what we're going to do, we'll take a little bit we'll take a break for now.
Yeah.
I do think we're going to be back on later, and I just got a cramp. Oh.
You got to poop.
No cramp. Cramp. Mama. Caleb, to get out before we get out here, I think all that's possible. Jeremy Booth, though, is one guy that Bregman, I still feel like an AL East team would fit him. And I think an AL East team would want him. I know they're saying, well, if he goes to Boston, you have Devers there. I think Devers is eventually going to move off of third base.
Yeah.
I'm just I really am curious. But I think the big thing is if Houston keeps Bregman, then the whole Kyle Tucker thing in Framber for one more year, it's not going to change. But if he doesn't stay, and he goes to a team, another contender, I think that the Astros are really going to have to consider certain things in their options. But I do think Atlanta's in a situation. Look, they're going to compete no matter what. That is the ultimate plan here.
Oh, for sure.
Don't count out the Phillies too, Steven. You're not right. Don't count them out. They like to spend. They like to make a super team, and they're trying to compete with the other quote-unquote super teams out in the National League right now. In the Dodgers, the Mets aren't there yet, but I'll tell you what, they're going to keep trying to make it. So, all right, guys, I think we're good. I think we call it right now.
Yeah.
Call it. Appreciate you guys. We're not queuing any music up.
If news breaks,
We'll see you
anytime it
back.
feels like breaking, we'll be back. I could do the
You
music.
send out the bat
No.
signal if news breaks, so let us know.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
hop on.
I was trying to do like put the bat signal up, but I didn't know how I would.
All right, guys. Hey, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night. We'll be back again. Watch something break in 30 minutes, and holy shirts and pants.
It's
We'll be
gonna-
all at it again.
it's gonna break in legitimately like 6 minutes.
And we
That's how
might-
it always
That always happens.
And we might, I'm telling you, I'm keeping my eyes on the Yes Network. I know they got the hot stove at 8, but I got some thoughts here. And yes, to those final people here, yes, these are the conversations about what the Astros do. You're going to figure out what they want to do. And this is why Bregman could be a fit for the Phillies. So we will be back. Appreciate you guys. Right? No other breaking news. We can step away.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Hey, appreciate you guys. Have a day. Have a night. We'll talk to you guys in about 30 minutes to an hour when something else hits the fan. All right. You guys be good and hit that like and subscribe button on the way out here. Ryan Ripken Show. We appreciate you and we know our shit. See you guys.